What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni and Deck, obviously known as the Liverpool fan of the channel. How you doing, Deck?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. You?
Yeah, not too bad, man. To be honest, yesterday I had a bit of a fever. It was a mad one yesterday. But like I kind of got over it overnight. So I don't know what was going on there, but I'm 100% fine now. But for the viewers, this one's going to be about, we're going to just talk to Deck about yesterday's roundup on the transfer deadline for his team, Liverpool. But obviously, before we get into it, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We're coming up to 1,000 subscribers real quick. Quick. Listen, man. I don't know if you're listening to my message at the beginning of every video or what, but like your support is crazy and we really appreciate it. Also, man, of your feedback in the comments, we need your feedback in the comments. We always respond. Everybody will always respond to your comments. I will always respond. If I see your message, I'll definitely respond to it. So make sure you're down there in the comments. Deck, let's talk about the closing of the transfer deadline day yesterday and how you feel about it.
Well, it was same old for us. We're never ones to be busy with the incomings. Always a few outgoings, you know, like the fringe players that end up going out on loan and that. But I had a faint hope that we might do something, but I kind of knew that we were done. It wasn't nice to see Saul join you at the last minute. That was a bit of a kick in the teeth. Obviously, we talked about him on one of our transfer roundup ones earlier on.
But that just goes to show that it's the transfer window for you. So, listen, there's something that might seem a done deal or something that might not look likely. It can just turn around in a matter of days or even in a matter of hours. And there you go. So even me, at one stage, I was like, if Saul's going to go anywhere in the Premier, it's definitely going to be Liverpool. So that's one of the reasons why we've done that video. But can't complain. He's here at Chelsea now. But do you feel that you're prepared going into this season?
Yes and no. I think we're relying heavily on not having many injuries. I feel like we're probably 2, maybe 3 players short from having a proper squad. I think if we don't get any injuries, we'll be fine. I still think on paper we've got the best 11 in the league. Beyond that, that's where we struggle. If everybody's fit, our bench looks pretty decent. But 1 or 2 injuries and a couple of the names on the bench, people start to not even recognize. It's players that people don't even want to play. So we're thin compared to like all our rivals. You look at your squad's stacked. City's squad is ridiculous. Man U have obviously brought in some good faces, and they look pretty stacked as well. So I'd say we're a couple short, to be honest. Definitely a disappointing window all around for Liverpool fans.
So, but I mean, the positive that I can see, obviously, I'm not saying that he's enough, but Harvey Elliott must feel like a new signing for you guys. Obviously, a young boy who's just been out on loan for the past couple of seasons, but we've seen what he's capable of. He certainly had a good performance against us. That does so because obviously January there's going to be the African Cup of Nations, and you have quite a few African nationalities in your squad. You've got Sadio Mane, you've got Mo Salah, you've got Naby Keita. Is there who does? Oh no, Konate is representing France, right?
Yeah, and Matip's retired from international, so it's just those 3.
All right, so. But nonetheless, 2 out of 3 of those names are massive names on your sheet. I mean, do you feel this window you could have somehow addressed that? I mean, it wouldn't even have to be like a permanent signing. I mean, even if it was just like a loan with an option to buy or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, sort of heading into the start of the season, I think unanimously all Liverpool fans sort of thought we needed an attacker to sort of boost the ranks in attack and to replace Wijnaldum. But like you just mentioned, Harvey Elliott's start to the season's been even better than I think we could have thought. Getting the minutes in the earlier game, I think it was against Norwich, he got the nod. Did not expect him to get the nod against Chelsea at all. I was shocked by that. But he didn't look out of place at all. He didn't look like a youngster. He fit in what's basically a massive game, even though it's so early on in the season. So that spoke volumes, the fact that Klopp trusted him. And that kind of made me not feel like we desperately needed a midfielder. It would have been nice, but looking at him and thinking how many minutes he's going to get now, I think we'll be all right there. But an attacker, 100%, like you say, with the Afcon coming up. But even aside from that, I think you look at Mane and he seems a little bit off the pace. Firmino, you sort of never know what you're going to get at the minute. So just that one extra attacker just to keep them on the toes. Jota's doing his bit. He'll definitely keep them on the toes, but Firmino's obviously injured now, so we're sort of down to the three, and then outside of that, it's just a big drop off. That's the worry for us. It's the drop off when a Minamino or an Origi has to come in. They're just not at the required level. I think we're definitely one attacker short, maybe two.
So why did FSG take this stance to have a quiet summer?
To be honest, mate, I don't know. We heard from all the journos that we got investment in. Well, FSG got investment into their wider business to sort of ease the pandemic, and it wouldn't affect us. Blah blah blah. We'd spend this summer. The sort of the same rhetoric we've been hearing for the past 2 or 3 years, and then it doesn't come. We signed Konate. Sort of, I think it was the first Premier League transfer done. You know what I mean? It was announced before the window officially opened. And since then, it's been rumour after rumour. Are we going to get Rafinha? Are we going to get Malin? Are we going to get Saul? Are we going to get Basuma? And then the longer the window goes on, nothing concrete seems to come, and everyone's left scratching their heads. So, I mean, we sort of all know how our owners operate. It's not to everybody's liking. It's obviously paid off in the last few years, but it's that next step, I think, building from a position of strength that we've failed to do. And that's the big worry with our owners, to be honest, especially when you look at what the likes of Man United, City are doing. I mean, even Arsenal splashed the cash. They didn't spend it very wisely, but they spent it, you know what I mean? We made a profit this window, which is ridiculous when you look at a couple of gaps that could have been plugged with 20, 30 million.
No, well, I agree with you. Personally, I think that Liverpool this summer, they should have signed 1 or 2 players, or 100% at least. I mean, for me, I still think you're up there for the title this year. I think January will be a very, very defining month for quite a few teams, actually, because we're gonna lose Mendy. So it's gonna remain to be seen on how we're gonna do then. But then again, I've still got confidence in my manager. But it's gonna be tough. But I still see you lot up there for competing for the title. But in terms of competing at all fronts this year, I think that's a bit of a big ask of Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen it since obviously when we won the Champions League and got 97 points in the league. We were competing on both fronts then, obviously. But since then, the sort of squad's not really allowed us to do that. When we won the Champions League, when we won the Premier League, the year after, crashed out in last 16 or maybe the quarterfinals to Atletico. We just don't have the squad. Obviously, we all, Liverpool fans, all know Klopp's going to basically write off the cups. Unless the kids get us to the quarters and the semis, and then you might see a few of the big boys come in. But we already know we're not going to be throwing first teamers at the domestic cups, which I don't really mind too much anyway, given how threadbare our squad is. But yeah, it's difficult to see us sustaining that title challenge once the latest stages of the Champions League come on. That's when we'll start seeing if we've been lucky with injuries. But if we're lucky with injuries, we can we can challenge for both, but we sort of have to have a perfect season. The guys coming back from, it'd be nice if obviously all of the guys in the Afcon go out in the group stage. That'd be an ideal scenario for us. But I think luckily when the Afcon comes around, there's the FA Cup weekend breaks it up a little bit, and I think there's a Champions League tie in there. It might be like the first knockout game. So I think it's only 2 or 3 Prem games. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's definitely when we're going to be tested massively.
I mean, January, same time, could be a redemption time for you as well, because obviously we've got a short period of transfer time in January. Although it is quite difficult to sign what would be considered to be your main targets, i.e. like the elite, quote unquote, sort of targets.
Yeah, people would come in and start and truly make a difference. Like you say, you saw it last season. We ended up getting Kabak and Ben Davis on loan on the last day of the window as stopgaps. We never exercised the right to buy Kabak because he wasn't who Klopp wanted. Ben Davis hasn't kicked a ball competitively for us, and he's now gone out on loan. So that was a waste, really. Kabak did well. But yeah, like you say, I think just if we do end up having to go back in January, it would just make this summer look even more naive, because then, like you say, you're scrambling around.
Yeah.
The teams know you're scrambling around then if you've got an injury or two. So then the price goes up 5-10 million just because they know you're desperate. The player's not got time to settle in. They kind of, if you've got an injury or two, you're signing someone and throwing them in at the deep end. So it's not ideal. I mean, it's good that it's there just in case, but it's not ideal.
Are there any outgoings that you would have liked to see in the summer that perhaps didn't get to leave this season? Well, this summer, sorry.
I think Origi, I think he's ran his course now. Since that Champions League final goal against Spurs, he's not made any sort of headway or any impact on our squad or just in anything, really. He's just been there since then. Seems to be living off that. Had a few offers, but it sounds like he didn't want to go. West Brom, I think, were interested. So I don't blame him for sort of sitting around and seeing out his contract. But I'm one of these that kind of thinks if you're not playing, you should be looking to go and play football somewhere. And another one, obviously, Nat Phillips signed a new deal on deadline day. I don't mind that he's staying 5th choice. You know what I mean? It's a solid 5th choice centre back. I just thought it would have been nice for him to go out. He probably could have got a Prem move and just gone and played. Again, he's not going to play a lot this season at all, really. Carabao Cup, FA Cup. It'd probably been nice to see him go and just become a first team regular somewhere, because he's not had that in his career yet. So other than that, there's no one really that I was wanted out. You know what I mean? I don't hate anyone that much. It'd have just been those two, just purely for game time reasons, really.
100%. I hear that. So now that the transfer window is officially closed, where do you see yourself? I know it's still early, it's still very early in the season. Anything can happen, twists and turns, whatever. But where do you see yourself finishing realistically at the end of the season?
I still back us. Again, you can't really predict what kind of injuries you're going to get.
Facts.
First 3 games of the season, Van Dijk looks like he's going to get straight back up to that level. I thought it was brilliant against you guys. You can still see he's not fully match fit. Like, that sharpness is still getting there slowly, but his reading of the game, his recovery pace, he just seems to have sort of slotted back into his normal self. Matip looking strong and fit. I think he come out the other day and said he feels like he's in the best condition he's been in for a long time. So that massively bodes well for us. Keita, not been injured yet. We're 3 games into the season. That's a rarity for him. So yeah, I still back us. I still back us to go on and be good enough to win the league. It's just like you say, 1 or 2 injuries and where that outlook changes. You know what I mean? You look at the other teams and you think, If Rashford gets injured, United are going to be all right. If Havertz gets injured, Chelsea are going to be all right. You think with us, if Mane or Salah gets injured, it's just it has a bigger knock-on effect to us than it does to the other teams around us. But I think we'll be all right, man. I think we'll be all right. We'll definitely be up there come the end. I'm not going to say definitely going to win the league because I think this is going to be the most competitive season we've seen for a good few years now. First time in a long time I can say 4 teams genuinely can win the league. But we'll be there, 100%. We'll be up there with you lot. I think Saturday's game was, for me, the top 2 in the league.
Yeah, facts, 100%. And from a Chelsea perspective, I've been saying this the past 3 or 4 streams. If by now you don't have us up there as one of the favourites to win the league, then I don't know what sport you're watching, because 10 men, 45 minutes at Anfield against a strong Liverpool team as well. That's a statement. That's why I came away from that game, although fucking the referee, the prick, I don't even want to say his name. He's a cunt. Simple as. Had a part to play in that game and made it about him. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, Deck, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to make this one short because I also have another interview in about 15 minutes with Mr. Rodri Giggs. I'm going to get a Manchester United perspective on their transfer window. Let me see. Yeah, they didn't. Well, in my opinion, they didn't adjust the defensive midfield position, and they didn't adjust the backup right back that they so desperately need. And I personally think that the Ronaldo signing for me was a stick up. I think Jorge Mendes absolutely pimped the shit out of Manchester United, because when you really sit down and pre it, Deck, watch this. Yeah, my man said this. He was like, "Yo, big man, I know you're not trying to stay at Juve, innit? You're trying to go to United, but we tried to offer you twice from Real Madrid, but they weren't having it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to City because they need a striker, yeah? And could you imagine the shithousery if that happens and how much they would love that to happen? They're going to give you a contract, boom, contract offer, yeah? Man United get wind of it. We can't let him go to City. Let's sign him. Does that sound like that's by choice? Does that sound like he was on their transfer list?
That was not a footballing decision. That was like Ronaldo is available. It might go City shit. Like, we can't let that happen. And I get it. I get exactly why they did it. But yeah, it doesn't really solve. Like, goal scoring wasn't a United issue. So they had a nice window, but they've still got a massive glaring issue in their team, which I don't think the others can say. Obviously, people can sit and look at us and go, "Oh, if such and such gets injured, if Lukaku gets injured, or if Grealish gets injured for City." But United have an issue without injuries, if you see what I'm saying. Everyone else's starting 11s on paper are stronger than United's, because no one else has that glaring midfield issue.
Yeah, facts.
And I think that's where they're going to stumble. Obviously, they've made some nice signings on paper. Like Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo in one window sounds unbelievable. But United fans knew from the start of the window they had an issue they needed to address and haven't addressed it. So I think United fans feel like probably as aggrieved as Liverpool, which seems a bit spoiled. But
I'll say this. The fact that they didn't pull the trigger on 30 million euros for Camavinga was absolutely ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I was even looking at Chelsea sideways for a little bit, like, big man, are you seeing the price for this player and you're not even going in for him? But
even Saul, who went to you guys, like, United were rumored as well. Yeah, that was a deal that I feel like.
But the rumor is apparently Saul was like, "Nah, man, I want to play for the champions of Europe." So fair play to Saul, man. Saul, trust me. So he's already one of my. I already got a liking to him. If that's true, and he turned down United for that reason, then boom, big up yourself, Saul. But listen, man, Deck, thank you very much for joining me. I'm gonna have you on. Well, remember, we got to be doing this shit weekly. Yeah, man, we got to try and get you on weekly. We got to try and get our Liverpool man on here weekly. That's Deck here. You'll find his social medias down there in the description. As always, clickable links, so make sure you give my man a follow. Also, please like, share, subscribe, comment down there in the comments as well. Let us know your opinion. Deck's putting up there. Man knows football. You already know. Bless.